Hi, this is Nichelle Aiden with Libertas Institute at the Capitol with Senator Jake Anderegg to talk about Senate Bill 115 about truancy. First, can you just explain the bill to us?
What the bill really does is it's moving to make it so that parents who have children who are being brought up on administrative challenges for truancy, so they're not being in school enough, they can actually notify, the administrator can notify currently, this is the law currently, they can notify DCFS and the courts that this student is truant. And then once DCFS is involved, that's when we're finding all hell breaks loose. And in many instances, the administrators are claiming in many instances that they've reached out to parents and they're not getting any response from parents. And what we're finding is we've got a lot of parents that are like, I had one phone call and now all of a sudden DCFS is involved. What in the world? Mm-hmm. You know, and most of the cases that we're getting this type of feedback, the parents and the kids have legitimate, health issues, things that are happening, depressions, family divorce. And so they've got these periods of time where the kid is really struggling, and instead of providing the help, we're just going to throw the punitive action at them. Mm-hmm. So what the bill does, I think we're going to take the stance first that we're going to try to decriminalize this so that DCFS is never even in it, but I don't know that we have the full support of the legislature to do that. I wish we did. But so the next aspect is to set in the parameters for what is required for notifying a parent and actually lengthen that time so that we actually can say to the administration, you have to first engage with the parents before you just send it over to DCFS. Mm-hmm. And it also gives parents a greater window of opportunity to engage and to basically walk the administration back from the cliff, before they push you off. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try for decriminalization, and I hope we can get it. Mm-hmm. But if we can't get it, we're going to make the system easier and better for parents so that they can kind of take their kids out of being in a punitive action scenario.
Perfect. What kind of opposition are you seeing on this bill? I mean, why aren't people wanting this to pass?
Mainly because, quite literally, the second you start saying, hey, we're going to remove the compulsory component of education, then they start rolling out all of the scenarios of, kids are not being educated, and then they're ended up, living lives of squalor, and they're not able to provide for themselves, and it's all scare tactics, quite literally. There are a couple of concerns which might be legitimate concerns, which Representative Hutchings has brought to my attention, which says basically that sometimes these triggers for intervention do provide resources that otherwise they wouldn't be able to get. And I get that, but I don't know that that's the reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And so I'm trying to work with Representative Hutchings to try to figure out better triggers for those resources than compulsory education with punitive action.
Cool. And lastly, why should Utahns be concerned about this issue? Why should they care?
Well, because quite literally what we're de facto what we've done in state statute is we've given quite a bit of control and authority to the government to come in and control your family's life. In essence, we've removed your freedom. Mm-hmm. And I'll be the first one to say to a principal, hey, I'm taking my kid out to bring him up to the legislature so they can sit on the floor with me. And if that means he's missing his history class, so be it, because he's going to learn a heck of a lot more up here than he is in that classroom. And if you don't like it, you can live with it. Well, I get certain preferential treatment because I'm a legislator. But most of these families, when they try to engage, it's their word against the administrator's word, and the system, DCFS and the juvenile court system, always sides with administration. It's frustrating for a lot of these parents when we hear their stories and they come in, they tell us what's actually happening when their child gets thrown into DCFS. It's a serious problem. That being said, I fully acknowledge that you got some parents out there that are both drug addicts and are totally out of it, and they don't care what their kid's doing, and at some point, that's the whole reason this was ever done.
Yeah.
Do you know how many instances that has been in the last 10 years? 12. And outside of that, it's been hundreds. So it's a major problem. We've endowed government with the authority to come in and, in essence, in many instances, ruin family structure and family lives. I think we got to stop it.
Okay, great. If you want any information or to contact your legislator, just click on the link in the description below.